I worry that if they close the camp, the Somali refugees who will be pushed back into the Somali country will feed into the violent extremism ideology, because they are vulnerable, the young men, the children and the women. And that will not help the situation in terms of the fight against terror in the region.
Jedida Kanywaruyu wants to keep Kenya's Dadaab refugee camp open and not force the Somali inhabitants to return to their homeland involuntarily. Jedida is a commissioner with the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, an independent institution established by the Constitution of Kenya, mandated to build, promote, and protect human rights in Kenya. Recently, the Carter Center's Human Rights Defenders Forum brought Jedida to Washington, D.C. to meet with U.S. senators to discuss Kenya's fight against violent extremism.
I think one way that we can really work together is to ensure that in the fight against violent extremism, we are also at the front line as policymakers, as implementers in protecting the lives of the communities and working very closely with the people, especially the human rights defenders who stand in the gap for what is right in terms of the right to life and the dignity of the people.
Kenya's Dadaab refugee camp is the world's largest. According to the United Nations, it shelters more than 230,000 Somali refugees. In May 2016, the Kenyan government announced plans to close Dadaab permanently to expedite an involuntary repatriation program for Somalis, prompting refugees to return to areas of Somalia deemed unsafe due to ongoing conflict with armed groups.
As the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, we went to court to stop the closure, especially the forceful repatriation of Somali refugees who are in Dadaab. That's the northern part of the country. And the idea was to stop the government from making the Somali people the problem and really focusing on what the problem is, the Al-Qaeda, the Al-Shabaab.
The Kenyan Human Rights Commission has been using their constitutional responsibility to advocate for the refugees.
What we did is go to court and ask the court to protect the rights of the people of Somali and their surrounding community, so that the women and the men in the camps can be protected and can only return to Somali as and when it's conducive for them, but not forceful.
Now, Jedida asks for continued support from the U.S. to help Kenya create a society that upholds human rights for all.
The American people and the people of Kenya have a common problem: the fight against violent extremism. And the American people and the Kenyan people also have human rights as an integral part of their policy and their laws. For the American policymakers, there is a great investment in Kenya in terms of security because of the Somali question. However, we need to respect the rule of law and using the Leahy laws to ensure that we do military interventions or military support that also respects the people of that country, especially in Kenya.